The first time I met Carter, it was at a crowded après-ski bar in Whistler. My friends and I were celebrating the end of exams, laughing over cheap beer when he slid onto the stool beside me. He seemed normal at first, just another snowboarder in a black North Face jacket, bonding with me over hockey highlights playing on the bar TV. But when my friends drifted away to play pool, Carter stayed, buying round after round, his fingers lingering too long whenever he passed me a drink. We exchanged Instagrams that night. His profile was painfully average ski trips, beers with buddies, a golden retriever. Nothing that would explain why he showed up the next evening at the ice climbing gym where my friend Jake was celebrating his birthday. "Best spot to watch beginners faceplant," Carter said, clapping my shoulder like we were old friends. His breath smelled like peppermint schnapps and something metallic. The real horror started when he invited me on a backcountry ski weekend to Banff. My friends all bailed too expensive, too cold, but I'd always wanted to see the Northern Lights. The red flags began piling up the moment we arrived at the Airbnb, a single bedroom with a couch that smelled like mildew. "Relax," Carter said, tossing me a threadbare blanket. "I'm not charging you for this." That first night, I woke at 3 a.m. to find him crouched beside my phone, the screen displaying failed Face ID attempts. The ski trip turned sinister fast. Carter kept accidentally loosening my bindings on steep runs. At dinner, he'd smile while listing how many ways hypothermia could mimic sleepiness. The final straw came when I woke to his frostbitten fingers stroking my boot inside my sleeping bag. I drove to Calgary Airport in a blizzard at 4 a.m. while he slept. Back home, I dug deeper. A DM from his ex-friend revealed the truth. Carter's been fired from 3 ski resorts for following guests. Last winter, he tracked a guy from their ice fishing group all the way to Yellowknife. Now, whenever I ski alone, I still check my bindings twice and pray the shadow behind me is just a tree. We never should have gone out on the lake that night. The February cold had turned Lake Superior into a sheet of black ice, thin enough that we could hear it groan under our boots. My friends Derek and Cole thought it would be fun. Just 3 guys skating under the Northern Lights, passing around a flask of peppermint schnapps. But the moment our blades touched the ice, something felt wrong. The usual echo of skating was muffled, like the lake was swallowing the sound. Cole spotted them first. "Yo, are those ice fishermen?" About 200 yards out, 3 orange parkas stood motionless near a cluster of ice fishing huts. No holes drilled, no lines in the water, just dark silhouettes facing us, perfectly still. Derek aimed his flashlight. The beam flickered out, but not before I saw their faces. Frost clung to their eyelashes like diamond dust. Their jaws hung slack, lips blue black, and their eyes were solid white, like marbles frozen in their sockets. Then the ice started cracking. Not random fractures, perfect geometric lines spreading toward us like a spider web. The figures turned their heads in unison, and that's when we heard it. A wet guttural clicking from beneath our feet. We didn't wait to see what surfaced. We just ran, our skates throwing up ice shards as the lake roared behind us. Back at the cabin, we swore it was just some drunk locals messing with us. Until Cole woke up screaming a week later, his bedroom walls glistening with frozen handprints. The worst part? The coroner's report on those fishermen finally came back. Cause of death, drowning, in a lake that had been frozen solid for months. Now when the winter winds howl, I stay inside. Because sometimes, if I press my ear to the window, I can still hear the sound of something dragging itself across the ice. whispering our names in a voice that crackles like breaking glaciers. The Marianne was supposed to be unsinkably decommissioned Coast Guard cutter retrofitted for Arctic research. When Trent suggested a winter joyride on frozen Lake Champlain, we laughed at the warnings. She plows through meter-thick ice, he bragged, slapping the hull like it was a loyal dog. But by midnight, with the temperature plummeting to -30°C, the jokes stopped. That's when we spotted the other boat. It loomed out of the snow squall like a Gostan ancient fishing trawler anchored dead center in the shipping lane. No running lights, no smoke from the stacks, just the name Marianne peeling off the bow in frozen crimson letters. Trent aimed our spotlight, revealing 3 figures in orange survival suits standing rigid at the rail. Their faces gleamed waxy under the beam, mouths sewn shut with fishing line. Then the light died, and we heard the splashes 3 perfect, simultaneous entries into water that should have been solid ice. The impacts started 10 seconds later. Something massive rammed our hull. Thud. Thud. T-H-U-D. Each strike stronger, like it was testing the steel. The radio crackled to life with a mayday in our voices. They're walking on thee before cutting to static. We made it to port with a cracked freshwater tank and a new rule: never go out after dark. The Coast Guard found the real Marianne 2 days later, iced over and drifting. The logbook's final entry made me vomit. They're learning. Today they knocked back. Now when lake ice forms, I watch from shore, because sometimes, if you stare long enough at the black expanse, you'll see them dark shapes moving upright beneath the surface, their frozen fingers trailing cracks like spider webs.